All right, perfect. Welcome everyone to today's webinar hosted by Vention. The webinar Palletizing Reinvented, How Modular Applications Are Future-Proofing the Factories of Today. So let me introduce you our speaker, Matt Shulak. Matt is a senior sales manager here at Vention. He has joined the company back in 2018, and he has occupied many roles since then. Matt has been instrumental in driving forward automation and robotics projects here at Vention. Over the course of his years at Vention, he has gained extensive experience working on end-of-line automation projects with various companies, from small to medium size, all the way to Fortune 500 companies, and in over 25 different industry sectors. Matt holds a Bachelor's of International Commerce and Management from Concordia University. So just a few housekeeping notes before I hand it off to Matt. Before we start, I'll be answering some questions at the end of the webinar. So there's going to be a Q&A session, but feel free to write your questions in the Q&A section as they come up during the webinar, and we will tally them up to answer them at the end. We'll do our best to answer all of your questions with the time we have. So keep in mind that we might be following up with some of you via email if we don't have time to go through all of the questions. Without further ado, I will leave the microphone to Matt, who is coming us live from the Vention Experience Center. Off to you, Matt.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much for the warm introduction, Sophie. Everything you said was correct. My name is Matt Shulak, and I've had the absolute pleasure of working with our end-of-line automation clients for the past few years. Really looking forward to talking about a little bit more about that today. The topic of our webinar is Palletizing Reinvented. Before we get into the core subject of our webinar today, I'd love to give you a quick introduction into Vention, who we are, and how we operate today in the market. So I'll start moving through our slides here briefly. So once again, quick introduction. We'll then move to talk about what drives users to our manufacturing automation platform. We'll then dive deep into our palletizing solutions, our process, and ultimately our client stories. And we'll conclude with a brief Q&A. So you might be wondering, who is Vention and what is Vention all about? So to kind of summarize it, our mission is to democratize industrial automation. And we do that by serving or creating a platform for high-mix manufacturers. It is a self-serve platform, and by self-serve, we mean that our users, who are usually manufacturing practitioners, can design, automate, order, and deploy equipment by themselves. They are high-mix manufacturers in a sense that they have small production volumes and historically could not afford to be profitable by using industrial automation projects due to the smaller production volume. One thing that I'd like to emphasize in our mission statement is that we do this with confidence. And for us, this means that whatever is going to happen online or in the cloud, which is where our platform is based, before our users have to commit to any kind of investment, will later translate one-to-one on their factory floor afterwards. And that is a true digital twin, and that is a defining feature of our platform. We're able to create designs directly in our CAD environment. We're able to simulate their motion and automation, and we're then able to replicate everything on the factory floor. This gives you a lot of confidence by allowing you to have a thorough and well-vetted design, a sound simulation of how it's going to operate, and then be able to confidently replicate it on your floor. That is a brief introduction to what we do. I will expand on this idea as we move through the webinar. Before we do that, I'd love to give you a couple of facts about Vention. We've been around since 2016, and we just turned 7. We have 3 offices. Currently, our headquarters is based in Montreal, Canada. We also have an office in Boston and Berlin, and we ship our parts from 2 distribution centers, main one headquartered here in Montreal, the other one based in Berlin, serving our European clients. On top of all of that, we're privileged to serve over 4,000 different clients in North America and Europe across 25 different industries. bit of a timeline of how Vention came to be. Vention was actually founded by Etienne Lacroix and Max Windisch in 2016. And the initial intent of creating Vention was to create a platform that joins 3D design and programming of automated solutions in one single environment. It was not something that existed prior to the conception of that idea, and it is something that we've been able to bring to life in the forefront through the existence of our company. Vention is a VC-backed company, and we have raised, for example, $95 million USD in our latest Series C financing in 2022. And we recently opened up a 100,000 square foot distribution center near the Montreal airport to further enhance our logistic process. Vention has thus far provided more than 1,600 machines, 16,000 machines that are currently delivered in the field, and approximately over 200 robot arms per year in the collaborative and industrial categories. Our discipline and our dedication to our growth has also led to several industry awards and business awards that we've claimed, and we're very proud of our efforts and accomplishments. What you see currently on screen is some of our CEO's favorite logos. So obviously, we've worked with a lot of big and renowned companies, and that's brought us a lot of success and recognition. That said, we are also proud to serve many more, often lesser known businesses such as Mullins Cheese, Insulfor, or Sager Foods. Some of the case studies that you can actually find on our website and platform that display how we've served those clients. We feel very fortunate to have a wide industry reach, allowing us to develop a tremendous amount of expertise, which in return enhances our capability of developing the right product and the right solutions for all industries. So now that we know a little bit about how Vention came to be and some of our story across the years, I'd love to dive a little bit deeper into the concept of the manufacturing automation platform and what that means. So, Vention aims to democratize automation, and that's something that I stated before, and that is a concept that's well captured in the image on screen. This image represents democratization of automation, but also labor upskilling. The gentleman that you see on screen is Stephen Gale, who is one of our clients all the way back in 2018. Stephen designed and programmed a fabric cutter autonomously. So Stephen, a maintenance technician, previously relied on system integrators to employ automation at his plant. With the use of Vention, Stephen was able to take command of all stages of the application automation process. Stephen used existing process and manufacturing expertise that he's gathered across the years of being in his role and was able to combine it with the simplicity offered by Vention to automate a function valuable to his business. Most of all, Stephen was able to significantly cut his cost of employment and upskill not only himself, but also those working around him and using this equipment. So really great story, kind of showcasing how somebody that previously relied solely on the traditional means of industrial automation to automate functions and application in his facility was able to harness the power of Vention, take matters into his own hand, produce the same level of automation and benefit that results from it, and at the same time, cut some of the fat, if we really want to call it that comes associated with the costs that are incurred through the traditional means of industrial automation. So really happy with this story. We've got tons of other examples like this across the years, and Stephen and his project was one of the first stories that we highlighted on our platform. So, taking that example into mind, I think when we think of industrial automation, we think of the picture on the left. So a busy car or electronic assembly line filled with robots. The reality is that this is, however, the exception and not the rule. The reality is that most of the world is exactly like the picture on the left. So plants equipped with manual or semi-manual assembly lines with workers doing repetitive manufacturing process tasks. In fact, the majority of the manufacturing sites in North America feature very little or no automation. Statistics actually indicate that 91% of manufacturing plants in the USA are SMEs, and most of them have yet to automate due to the prohibitive cost of automation, sort of like we described in Steven's example. Following that thread, the blue curve we see on screen indicates payback across production volume. So one way to look at it is high mix manufacturers seek quicker payback to mitigate demand decrease or loss of production contracts. Today's traditional approach to automation dictates that the cost of automation is split evenly between the cost of hardware, usually from incumbent equipment providers, and the cost of integration, supplied by system integrators, traditionally responsible for the design, programming, commissioning of the equipment. Vention's approach, rooted in ease of use, puts the integration capability um, directly in the hands of the client. This in turn reduces project deployment cost, duration, and ultimately increases return on investment. Um, in times of economic downturn, there's no better approach to automating. Even faced with lower demand, manufacturers can reduce labor or combat labor shortage by automating with Vention and using our streamlined approach. The Vention platform can also help significantly reduce the length of the automation process. And this is really kind of the genesis of the idea behind Vention. So Etienne, our founder and CEO, took inspiration from a previous role as a young engineer working for GE here in Montreal. Etienne's early experiences in machine design gave root to the idea of combating what previously was a long, arduous, and inefficient process of procurement and deployment of industrial automation. What once took 3 to 9 months and involved several steps, sort of like the ones you see on screen, whether that's defining requirements, building 3D models, or generating bills of materials, amongst many other steps that kind of were involved in this process. This process is now possible via one consolidated platform and the simplicity of use that drives the existence and operation of Vention. So once again, we're taking a process that was once um, you know piecemealed across different suppliers and different companies. We're putting it into one platform. We're putting it directly into the user's hands, and we're enabling that user to harness that process to automate and improve their factory floor. So this is something that's very powerful. Again, it comes from the direct experience of our CEO and some of the inefficiency that he saw in the market and chose to solve with this brilliant idea. So today, we define ourselves as a manufacturing automation platform. So we're based on 4 pillars or 4 capabilities. We start with design. Our users arrive on our website and access our cloud-based software CAD we call the 3D Machine Builder. Our CAD environment is loaded with modular components, call them industrial Legos, featuring their geometric data and metadata, prices, weight, descriptions. We can also provide software automation simulation capability that would never be possible in a traditional CAD software. We give our users real-time pricing, assembly time, automatic bills of materials, and automatic fastener management. We can recommend the next best part for the design and predict how the user is trying to connect those 2 parts together. Being able to leverage this geometric and metadata makes the act of design significantly faster and much easier to complete. So designing is really the core of our platform, and we've given our users every means and capability to design whatever equipment they can with the use of our components while making that process easy and seamless. Once you're done with your design, it's now time to automate. Our users can program their machine in a visual sequence editor online and simulate the machine motion. They can simulate not only traditional automation, conveyors, pneumatics, actuators, but also the actual robot arm movement. If they like what they see, they can move on and order their machine. So the beauty of being able to simulate the motion of the machine or the equipment in the CAD is really valuable, right? And that goes further towards the idea of the digital twin. Not only are we giving you a very specific representation of the physical state of the machine, we're also allowing you to simulate how it's going to behave once it's deployed on your factory floor, giving you a lot of confidence that what you're purchasing, what you're designing, and what you're programming is going to do exactly what you're looking for it to do. Once you've ordered your equipment, the procurement process is quite simple. So all of your parts arrive in IKEA-style packaging, flat boxes that could be, easily unpacked, and all of the equipment can be assembled by our users using a single tool. Since Vention controls both the hardware and software ecosystem, we make sure that from the ideation to the deployment phase, the user experience once again is seamless and easy. Once you've received your equipment, once you've been able to put it together, it's time to deploy. And this is where our programming and software framework and tech stack really comes into play. Our platform users can rely on a selection of user-friendly software frameworks like Machine Apps or Machine Logic to automate their assemblies. Our software stacks allows the client to confidently deploy their equipment with little or no assistance by relying on the validation provided by the digital twin version created in the earlier steps of this process. Deployment is seamless, intuitive, and low cost due to the streamlined process that led up to this point. By allowing our users to not only design, but to also assemble and program their equipment uh, themselves, we're really once again cutting down on the traditional cost of automating industrial equipment. So a lot of value in this process. And ultimately, the digital integration that we've built with MAP has significantly shrunk the time it takes from ideation to deployment. When we've taken a process that once took months, as previously discussed in the kind of idea of how this came to be, and we've reduced it to days or weeks at most. We see significant cost savings and value creation through the process of digital integration of the functions of design, procurement, programming, and deployment. And what we found is that on average, our users progress 5 times faster than the traditional ways of doing industrial automation, and that this increase in speed and efficiency translates to roughly 40% less cost. In today's competitive and strict market, the ability to drive down cost by that volume is simply unmatched and invaluable. So why automate now, right? I think that's kind of the question a lot of our clients struggle with. And the question most of the time is when to automate. There never seems to be a right time. Business is ongoing, right? There's a lot of things that happen for different companies, and it's difficult to decide when to pull the trigger and what are the real motivators that are going to push our clientele to go ahead and replace manual labor with an automated machine. Naturally, having worked with a lot of different clients, we have a pretty good idea of what the common motivators can be for automation. And, they seem to be similar across the different industries and clients that we come in contact with. Some of the motivators that we found to be the most common are labor shortage. So the manufacturing sector is suffering from labor shortage as we speak, especially for heavy duty and repetitive tasks. It's really difficult to find people to complete these tasks, and it's difficult to retain these employees over a long period of time. Um, Palletizing and material handling, for example, is a major turnover contributor for many manufacturers and many of our clients, and therefore pushing them to automate with equipment. Another motivator could be cost pressure and inflation. With scarcity of labor come wage hikes. With inflation come pressures to reduce cost. Simple automation can be a cure for both. Another example is ergonomics. Repetitive tasks and lifting heavy boxes are leading to injuries, vacancy, and are increasing health and safety expenses. And this is something that definitely needs to be taken into consideration when calculating return on investment for automation. And another reason that we commonly hear is production throughput. So labor inconsistency can cause production decrease and in return reduce revenue. Many clients want to automate to also increase production capacity, and both can definitely be true by using the Vention model. So as you see, there are several motivators to automate, right? Oftentimes we find that our clients experience all at the same time, pushing them aggressively towards employing industrial automation. And another thing that we find a lot of our users do nowadays is creating and enabling advanced manufacturing teams by leveraging Vention. So by democratizing the design, programming, and deployment of automation, companies can gain speed and agility, own core manufacturing process knowledge, and ultimately save CapEx investment budget. So really it goes back to the idea of putting this process in the hand of the users, right? And enabling either individuals or really groups of people at companies to harness this process and apply it to the different parts of the organization. As a sum and as a whole, this process can not only enable your labor, upskill your labor, but again, with the kind of ultimate goal of driving down the cost of automating and operating your facility. So this is something that we've seen across many of our teams. Our platform facilitates cooperation, facilitates team building, and facilitates communication between these teams to make sure that they arrive at the right type of solution using our platform. Um, so that is a bit of a introduction into Vention, right? It gives you an idea of how we came to be, the general concept of behind our platform, and how to view our company if you're looking to automate with Vention. What I find particularly interesting about Vention, and I think is a defining point of our platform, is that this idea of democratizing, this idea of ease of use, and this idea of a streamlined process is seen as a thread across all of our solutions and all of our products. Palletizing and our line of palletizing solutions is no different, right? So we've been able to continue that thread, apply it to something that already exists in the industry, and to some degree reinvent how this process develops on our clients' factory floors. Very proud of the way that we've gone about this process, and we've applied it across our line of applications. So before we really get into palletizing itself, for us, applications live on top of our platform. So what we're doing is we're providing our users with a tremendous amount of hardware building and software building blocks. These can be grouped into kits that have a defined function. That could be palletizing, which is the topic of our webinar today. It could be conveying, it could be gantry robots, it could be range extenders, and a long list of other variations of applications that we've created. You can see them on the screen right here. You can see them represented on this virtual shop floor here, and you can obviously learn more about them by visiting our website. With our platform, we are able to create applications which provide a starting point to our users, saving them the time of building the solution from scratch. So what we have on the website is a lot of templates for these applications, right? We've talked to a lot of clients, so we understand that there's going to be some variation between what one client expects to another, but we found that our templates most of the time capture a lot of the requirements that we commonly see in reference to these applications and pain points for our clients. The benefit for our end users is that those applications leverage the same field-tested and software-tested Lego parts and software. This doesn't feel like an integration project. It doesn't feel like a project at all. It feels like a product that has been deployed in a repeated fashion with a track record of proven performance. You can find the entire selection of our application categories on the Vention platform website. I would especially encourage you to see our case study page to see how these applications came to life for a lot of our clients on their factory floor. We'll cover some of those cases today, but I definitely encourage you to see more on our website. So Now that we've covered the story and the purpose behind Vention, I'm excited to focus on the core topic of today's webinar, and that is palletizing. In the palletizing category, Vention offers a full suite of modular solutions from medium to heavy payload palletizers, ranging all the way from 10 kilograms all the way up to 140 kilograms of payload. And that includes both cobot solutions and industrial robot solutions. Once again, leveraging the same exact field-proven technology. More so, Vention's agnostic modular solution for palletizers can enable customers to choose the solution that best fits their requirements. Today, we'll also look and what I would add is that it best fits their requirements in terms of payload, cycle time, lead time, footprint, and product type. And that is driven by, again, the selection of equipment that we have on our platform. And what we've learned from a lot of our clients is that requirements vary across sites, lines, and we're able to today provide a large amount of solutions and equipment options to solve all of those problems for our clients. Today, we'll also look at our offering, but also some of the logic and process behind how we build our palletizing solutions, how we enable our clients to operate them, and ultimately how our clients fare with these solutions after we've deployed and commissioned them. So our cobot palletizer line solution continues the thread of simplicity, accessibility, and modularity we see across the platform. It's powered by the ease of use, a visual interface-driven machine app software, and flexible CAD design. The Vention Cobot Palletizer is the ideal solution for companies looking to reduce labor costs and increase efficiency. We employ robot arms with payloads up to 30 kilograms. And again, this is across many different brands and many different other features that define when one arm should be used versus another. And our software is not only user-friendly, but also loaded with features like multi-pick, um, unlimited SKU recipe management, label management, and auto layout and stack generation, and more. In addition to that, folks, we're also experts in hardware, right? So the quality of our structural components is only matched by the flexibility of being able to configure those components in our 3D CAD environment. Ultimately, what this allows us to do is to operate in a lot of different manufacturing spaces, and we've had a tons of success in helping our clients maximize their floor space. We also take safety very seriously and offer a full line of scanner or hard guarding safety solutions. Lastly, the application is fully compatible with the rest of the Vention tech stack, which includes the 3D CAD we've mentioned, our machine analytics diagnostic software, as well as our remote support function, which I'll describe in detail a little bit later. Now, the solution is modular, like everything else on our website. All of our components are modular. They're designed to work with our software. They're configured to work with our robots. And what that does for our clients is it allows to scale the equipment with the growth of their business. We're robot agnostic and feature different models to meet different weights and reach requirements. We have modular software that not only allows us to fit different footprints, but also allows us to configure safety in different ways to match our clients' requirements. And at the end of the day, you are essentially able to customize almost all of the assemblies to fit your floor and application. And that's really the great feature of Vention. You're able to really adjust what is a standard and field-proven solution to your factory floor, to your requirements. And at the end of the day, be able to deploy something that you have confidence is going to work, but also work for your plant and facility and environment. What we see on screen is simply a selection menu of how we sometimes configure our palletizers. As you can see, you could select between different robot brands, different bases for the robots, and ultimately different pallet configurations. There is further customization that is available. I do encourage you to contact us and explore some of our palletizing solutions. bringing the simplicity of programming of a cobot directly to industrial robotics. I'm going to repeat that. All of our industrial palletizer solutions run on the same software we use for our cobot line. So you don't need intimate code knowledge. You don't need to be an expert in programming industrial palletizers. You're able to capture the ease of use of a cobot and apply it to an industrial solution. This is groundbreaking and a fantastic way for us to be able to serve a variety of different clients. And that's something that we're really proud to have developed in the recent years. Some more, I think, fine details about our industrial solution. We employ robots with payloads of up to 110 kilograms. We're not limited to that weight. Again, we do a fair bit of analysis to determine the right mix of hardware for our clients. We do have great relationships with our suppliers and can sometimes source equipment that goes beyond the stated capacity that I just described. Nonetheless, we do offer a lot of different brands and robot arms that meet a lot of different requirements. As I mentioned, the software is the same as our cobot palletizer. So once again, easy to use, easy to configure, and something that you're going to be able to deploy directly on your floor and enable your team and frontline operators to use. So that is a bit of an overview of our industrial robot palletizer line. Same as our cobot line, the industrial solution is modular, right? So we're using the same components, again, the same software to automate these machines. And what that gives us is a lot of flexibility to not only adjust to your footprint, but also expand on the solution in the future, right? For example, you could start with a palletizer that only palletizes one pallet. You could have a palletizer that for now relies on human intervention to remove pallets, but later automated by including conveyors. And that is possible through the modularity of our platform, not only in the CAD design software, but also in how you assemble, automate, and deploy our components. Now, here's a bit of an overview of our app as well, right? So as I mentioned before, we've got tons of features that are featured on the app. And what I think is the best part of our app is that it's a visual user interface, right? So you don't really need to use to have intimate code knowledge. It's really simple. And as you can see on screen, a very seamless process. You start by defining your product, right? So SKU name, box dimensions. Again, really simple information that's easy to enter. You can then select your pallet, whether it's a standard North American pallet or a Europe pallet or any other kind of dimension that you're facing. You can build a layout. These layouts are easily configured with your mouse by simply using the boxes you previously created and configuring them into a layout that you currently employ through your manual process. If you don't have a preferred layout, we do, as I mentioned before, have auto-generated options. So in case you're looking for an optimal layout, we're able to go ahead and do that for you automatically. And the beauty of the software is that it can be created on the PC in the comfort of your office, and then later sent to our machine, or it can be created directly on your teach pendant on your machine on the shop floor. So accessible to operators and management as well. If you're looking for a bit more hands-on experience with our machine app, you can actually find the demo directly on the Vention platform. Perfect. So, when we're talking about palletizing, this is something that is definitely directly tied to return on investment, right? So we're always looking to work with our clients and generate the quickest and best possible payback for their investment, right? What we have on screen here is a theoretical example. And this theoretical example is rooted in client experience, right? I think what we found across the board is that Vention's democratized approach significantly reduces the cost of automation and in turn increases the lifetime return on investment on the machine. In this example, we're assuming a standard shift schedule and a fully burdened wage for 2 operators, a $140,000 investment that can be paid back within just a year. Future savings continue to accumulate, and additional value can be found in increased production predictability due to labor shortage elimination. We're no longer dealing with employees that don't show up. We're no longer dealing with employees that take too many breaks. We are able to reduce labor, uh, um, reduce costs in labor, rehiring, and training costs. So we're no longer incurring costs in finding employees and training them for the job. And then ultimately, we're also keeping our staff safe, right? We're eliminating the risk of work-related injuries due to repetitive tasks and any injury risk. So as I mentioned before, right, it's important to choose automation that's going to help you grow into the future, right? And that's one of the benefits of Vention, in addition to being able to save cost. And that again goes back to the modular approach and robot agnostic software. Modifying or upgrading your cell is a straightforward process by removing installation costs and the need to retrain employees. So once you've deployed one of these cells in your facility, it becomes that much easier to deploy another and another and another. Once you've become accustomed to using our software, designing in our CAD, and later reproducing that equipment on the floor, you're able to do it again at a larger scale as your business grows, and we're able to be there to accompany your needs. That is the same for palletizing. As I mentioned before, you're able to start with a base version and then increase the capability of your machine by adding modular parts like conveyors, pallet dispensers, pallet conveyors, and any other functionality that's going to help you meet the growing demands of your business. Traditional automation does not operate in this way. Modularity is not something that I would say is an aspect of traditional automation, and therefore it is to some degree prohibitive for users to expand and build upon. Most of all, a lot of the secret sauce behind how to automate and how to design automation is held under lock and key by system integrators, and therefore making our clients reliant on their services to continue to automate and expand. We've removed that variable through Vention. We've enabled the client to not only design, but also deploy this equipment on the floor. And I think our palletizing line is a great example of an evolution of that process, right? You can go by automating some of your line with a cobot and end up with a much more capable machine harnessed by our industrial robotics and the easy to use software that we provide. So, based on all of that and based on our experience with our clients, there's significant benefits to building a palletizer with Vention. One of it is obviously the expertise that we bring and the field proven solution. But a couple of other examples of the benefits are fast ROI. So once again, we're removing a lot of the cost of this process, right? And the result of that is that we're able to save money and increase the return on investment. The less cost, the quicker we're able to get our payback, and the quicker we can get our machine to actually start making money for our business. The design and software is intuitive and easy to use. I know I've said this many times, but it really is the defining thread of our platform. We want to make sure that this technology is accessible for a variety of users. And that's exactly one of the defining features of our palletizer. As I mentioned before, we've deployed many, 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 many machines across different industries, clients, countries, and continents. And what that means is that we have a field proven and ultimately productized application, not a project, but a product that you can confidently deploy on your shop floor and be sure that you are benefiting from the years of development and experience that we've gathered by working with other clients. Um, it's dependable and high quality equipment. We are very confident about the quality of our components and ultimately how they perform in the field. And then ultimately, all of those components are modular, and are able to be scaled with the growth of your business. You also get future-proof capability through this modular and scalable approach. Now, now that we know a little bit more about what we offer in terms of palletizers across our cobot and industrial lines, I want to talk a little bit more about how we work with our clients. We offer a variety of vehicles for automation deployment, and that could be all the way from do-it-yourself, self-deploy models to maybe somewhere in between that and a turnkey offer where we assist with the deployment but still enable the client to go ahead and deploy the equipment themselves. And then again, all the way up to turnkey deployments where we are able to provide a full service offering to our client along with the equipment. I'd love to go through some of the steps about how we actually do that. So there are several stages to this process that are, again, pretty seamless to operate. First of all, we're going to spend some time learning about your project. So we're going to scope and understand what we're dealing with. We're going to gather information about your product, your environment, your floor, and any other standards or requirements that you keep. We're going to relate those requirements and needs to one of our standard solution and templates that we have on our website, and then we'll make some small adjustments to better fit your environment and space. We're going to align on the delivery method. Maybe you are somebody that has high understanding and high skill in robotic programming and then are able to take this machine and self-deploy. Maybe you're looking to upskill your staff and looking to put some of this responsibility on their hands and will take advantage of our assisted vehicle. Or you are simply too busy to do this and want to rely on our turnkey offer. All of that is on the table, and all of it can be determined by connecting with our team and helping them understand more of what you expect and need for your business. The easiest part of this is the operation of the equipment, which again is driven by our software and is something that's going to be constant through this process and any solution that we provide. We're also going to do a lot of work on the design to make sure that it meets all of your needs. And ultimately, what we're looking to define is the correct mix of hardware, right? As I mentioned before, all of our parts are modular, right? And they are all designed to work together, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be perfect for your application. So once again, what we're going to do is gather a lot of information, and we're going to use this information to determine which robot, which pedestal, and which configuration is best for your palletizing project. That involves doing robot reach studies to determine which length of arm we need. We're obviously going to consider the payload of your robots to determine which brand to use, and so on until we have a solution that meets your requirements in terms of hardware. We're going to, in our turnkey offering, assemble, test, and validate this setup in our facility here in Montreal. You are then welcome to visit and witness the factory acceptance test directly on our shop floor. We're going to then ship the equipment to your facility, arrive on site, deploy, commission, and train your staff on the operation of the palletizer. Again, all of this is possible through the self-deploy and turnkey models. And once we've done that, we're able to support your ongoing operations. And that is mostly done through our remote support vehicle, which is handled by our amazing Vention customer success team. So upon the successful deployment of a Vention palletizer, the Vention customer success team is here to support your project. The team consists of 9 engineers that are trained not only on Vention apps, but also machine logic, Python programming, and all of the robot native languages. And because Vention solutions are all designed from the same software, the customer success team can support any solution that we've provided, right? Our stack stack is fully integrated, and our team is able to support anything that we've deployed in the field. Our customer success team is also there to serve orders, so help you in that process, and then manage the logistic inquiries and any other general support that might arise with your project. And next, I'll talk about our remote support vehicle. So what we've developed recently is a new piece of technology, and that is our V3 pendant. And the great thing about the pendant is that it comes with a front and back facing camera, which allows us to see your equipment, allows you to see us, and it also allows remote connectivity with your equipment. So using the Vention pendant, the user can request support and customer success specialists will be able to appear on screen within 10 minutes. So we're really talking about instant response. If you are having difficulty with your machine, if you're looking to troubleshoot, or if you have any general questions, it's simply at the touch of a button that you are able to connect with one of our specialists within a delay of 10 minutes, and we're able to help you work with your machine and troubleshoot any issues that you might be facing. And that is really the fastest response time available in the industry and is faster than local support or any other means that is available. It is also more intuitive and comprehensive by giving us a visual of what you're facing, giving you the connectivity with one of our specialists, and ultimately giving us the ability to remotely access the software. So now that you understand how we go about deploying the palletizing offering that we have available, I'd love to talk briefly about a couple of customer success stories. Once again, as I mentioned, you are able to see all of these stories directly on our platform, but I wanted to focus on a couple of them to let you know how we've worked with these clients. So the one that we see on screen currently is a industrial palletizing solution that we've deployed for one of our home decor manufacturer clients. And the pain points were common: difficulty hiring employees for repetitive and heavy payload tasks, difficulty training employees for various SKUs and layouts, and then limitations in terms of being able to manually stack really, really high products, and then ultimately facing delays in production and the stress of losing customers and contracts. What we were able to do is create a design that corresponded to the client's requirements, both in space and the mix of hardware. We were then able to come to an agreement and deploy the machine within 13 weeks from order to factory acceptance. We then spent a couple of weeks on site completing the commissioning and user training. The impact is real and significant for the business. They're able to reallocate to employees to higher priority tasks. They're able to take advantage of the easy and quick changeover between their many SKUs and layouts. And ultimately, they're able to achieve higher efficiency and more bang for their buck by being able to stack more boxes and ultimately being able to ship more product. Most of all, this client is going to be able to capture their payback within a period of 17 months. So a great example of not only the use of Vention's modular tech stack, but also the application of our easy-to-use software to a industrial robot. And very quickly, the last story that we have here is a local one based here in Montreal. We worked with a company called Sager Foods, looking for a quick payback and a quick deployment. They were facing, again, very common pain points in difficulty to hire employees, and were looking to reduce labor on non-value added operations. Similarly to our other client, we were able to come to a quick agreement and conceptualization of the palletizer. We're able to deploy it quickly, arrive on site, commission, train, and enable the clients to move ahead with their new machine. We are able to reallocate some of their staff to more value-added tasks and ultimately realize a payback for the client within 1 year from the date of the order. This is a great case study you can again find on our website, and you can hear directly from the business owner about how the Vention machine impacted their business. So that really wraps up the presentation and content portion of our webinar today. I will hand it back to Sophie to moderate our brief Q&A.
Thank you so much, Matt. Thank you for the insightful webinar. So we did have a bit of questions coming in during the webinar, so we'll take the next 5 minutes to go through them. And for anybody who needs to drop the video, the webinar, sorry, will be available on demand and sent to you via email within the next hour. So Matt, the first question would be, you sort of highlighted it, I believe, in one of the sections, but I guess more in details. It says here, if I want to get the palletizer quoted, how does the validation process work?
Great question. Great question. So the first step obviously would be to get in touch with our Vention team. We're going to connect you with one of our project leads and one of our application engineers, and we're going to start by gathering information. The first step of the validation process is going to be theoretical. Essentially, we're going to do some math by using that information to determine the mix of hardware and obviously the feasibility of your project. Once we understand that the project is feasible, and once we understand that Vention has the correct solution for your project, we're able to realize a design and then simulate your operation directly in our CAD. Once we've determined that this application is possible using the digital twin version of your ultimate palletizer, we have really good confidence that we're deploying the right machine for your requirements. Further validation will happen during the deployment phase. As I mentioned before, we do hold a factory acceptance test at our facility here, where we actually palletize with your product to attest to the functionality with respect to your product and space, and then ultimately deploy and repeat that validation test at your facility right before we hand over the keys for you to go ahead and operate your machine. So several steps of validation, Sophie, all very thorough to ensure that we are deploying the right type of equipment for your application.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that answer, Matt. Another question that we have here is, what if my throughput exceeds the number of picks per minute that you mentioned? For example, 18 boxes per minute.
Great question, great question. So as I mentioned before, we have a wide variety of robots available, right? So most of the time, we're going to be looking at the lower cost alternative, which is the cobot option. If the requirements of that project exceed the capability of the cobot option, we do have the avenue of utilizing our industrial robot, right? So for example, if the pick speed of the application is too fast for our cobot, we can move to the industrial option and go ahead and harness the power of that machine. However, if the industrial option is not applicable for whatever reason, our software also features multi-pick functionality, right? So we are able to actually palletize at 18 picks per minute by using the cobot through multi-pick. And that helps us maintain the rate and meet your requirements.
That makes sense. Perfect. Thank you so much. A third question. I have trays, not boxes. Would that work with your palletizer?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we've done many different types of products with many formats to the packaging. Trays are definitely acceptable. For that type of project, we would use different end-of-arm tooling, right? And we do have a wide selection on our platform. For a tray, we would likely use either a fork-style gripper or maybe a clamp gripper to be able to handle something that is not closed top. We also have options for bag palletizing and many other possibilities through the modular nature of our hardware that allows us to even configure end-of-arm tooling to meet our clients' different requirements.
Perfect. We got 3 more questions that came in that we'll try to go through. So here we have, would you also provide automation and integration services if it involves PLCs and CNCs?
Definitely, definitely. So we can definitely connect with your PLCs and CNCs. We have a variety of means of connecting either through Ethernet or other modes. So that is definitely a possibility. It is something obviously that we evaluate on a case-by-case basis to determine compatibility. And we do also have information on our website about how our technology, our controller, and ultimately our tech stack connects with other equipment and through what means. So that is definitely possible. It is something that we can make happen for you, whether it is communication with a PLC, whether it is communication with some level of diagnostic software that you might have at your plant, or whether it is connecting a cobot to talk to and operate alongside a CNC.
Perfect. And The before last question that we have here is, do you, sorry about that, asks to elaborate on the safety options that we are providing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got different safety options, right? We have area scanners that could be put around the palletizer. That is one option. We do have light curtains that could also be employed, and we also have hard guarding. So at the end of the day, the selection or the means of safety that we employ on a palletizer depends on the client's footprint and environment. It depends on their preference, and oftentimes depends on local safety regulations. But to summarize, we definitely have a plethora of options. We have area scanners with different range capabilities. We have light curtains that can be employed either with hard guarding or without. And then ultimately for kind of the most thorough way of keeping equipment safe, we can hard guard it and completely close it off.
Perfect. A question came in as you were answering this, so maybe we can sort of go through it again. Someone asked, do you provide a risk assessment for the design?
Definitely, definitely. So if we're doing a turnkey offering for a palletizer, we will provide you with a full proposal that not only provides guarantees in terms of performance, it also provides a risk assessment based on your facility, your space, and the equipment that we're deploying for you, so that it is something that we will provide and give you comfort with within our offer.
Perfect. So that's all the time we had for questions. Thank you for those who stuck around with us a little bit longer. We will send you the video on demand, the webinar available on demand. So you will be able to, reply to that email if you wish and ask any further questions if we didn't have time to answer your questions today. So thank you so much, Matt, for being an amazing speaker today. And we will see you very soon with some more Vention webinars.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.